Welcome to the Pinpoint My Home YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Targi with Pinpoint Real Estate, and in this video, I'm going to share some information with you about the housing market in Weber and Davis counties. I hope that by the end of this video, we will be able to answer the number one question I'm getting these days: when is the housing market going to crash? Like most economic indicators, housing prices respond to pressures from supply and demand. You've probably heard, but if you haven't, we have an inventory problem. That simply means we are currently experiencing rising home values because of the lack of homes available for buyers to purchase. Here's the best tip I can give you right now. Just so you know, the list price is the new lowball offer. Some will argue with me about how this happened, but I think our situation was created by several factors, the first being COVID-19. Inventory levels were on the rise at a near normal pace until COVID hit in mid-March of last year. From this chart, you can see active homes took a dip at the beginning of 2020, but once we got to the end of the traditional winter thaw, active homes were on their way to surpassing the number of active homes in 2019. The number of active homes topped out at 1,188 the first part of April, 2 weeks after the COVID shutdown, and we never recovered. I hope you've been finding this information to be valuable. If this is your first time to the channel, we cover information about the housing market and general information about how to buy, sell, invest, and develop real estate in Utah. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing and ring the bell so you'll be notified about future videos. The second factor was the dropping interest rates we experienced last year. You may be thinking, how can low interest rates affect the availability of homes for sale? Wouldn't low interest rates motivate people to sell their home and buy another home? In most circumstances, this would be true. Low interest rates generally act as fuel for sellers that turn into buyers. With the uncertainty of employment and the economic clouds on the horizon, many homeowners decided to stay put and refinance. When homeowners refinance, they can lower their monthly payment, shorten the term of their loan to 20, 15, or even 10 years. They can even cash out on their equity by doing a cash out refinance and stick several thousands of dollars in the bank for a rainy day, or reinvest the cash into their home with home improvements. Since people were spending more time in their home on lockdown, they had more time to watch home improvement shows that would inspire them for their next project. Now remember the lines to get into the Home Depot and Lowe's last spring? Those lines generated a 23% increase in sales during the second quarter of 2020 for the Home Depot and 34% for Lowe's. A refinance usually costs several $1,000s, so homeowners typically stick with their new mortgage for as long as it takes to pay off the cost of the refinance in the reduction to their new monthly payment. As reported by New American Funding in November of 2020, Fannie Mae's economists expected refinance volume to hit $2.6 trillion. That figure alone is more than the entire mortgage market in some years over the last decade. The Wall Street Journal reported refinancing was up 200% in 2020 from 2019, while purchase mortgages fell 8% in 2020 when compared to the previous year. Now, as you can see from this graph, 2020 left homeowners with a silver lining. Mortgage rates bottoming out at 2.67% for a 30-year fixed rate and 2.17% for a 15-year fixed rate. Now, the third factor that caused our current inventory problem is the effect COVID had on residential new construction or home building. Once we went into lockdown, builders put the brakes on speculative building. Now, speculative building is simply building a home without a buyer. The builder is speculating they will find a buyer when the home is about to be completed. Most large and mid-sized builders sell a reasonable amount of spec homes each year, and with the uncertainty of how COVID would affect the economy as a whole, builders pulled back thinking they wanted to avoid the nightmare of what happened in the fall of 2008. In addition to pulling back on speculative building, COVID has delayed suppliers and suppressed laborers with more restrictions on how and when they could get their job done. Overall, it has extended the amount of time it takes to get a new home completed, and most new home purchases generate an existing home listing. If you've been thinking about a new construction home purchase, take a look at this video where I share 3 tips about how to get started. Well, now you may be thinking, when will the market shift? The logical expectation is the market will shift when mortgage defaults increase, driving short sales and foreclosure properties to be listed. Like many others, this is what I thought would happen at some level. 8 months ago, I was expecting a tsunami on the horizon, but we just didn't know if it would be a 3-foot wave or a 30-foot wave. How can 20 million people lose their jobs and it not affect the housing market? Most people were expecting default rates to increase like they did after the mortgage meltdown of 2008, causing a glut of homes to come on the market and drive down the home values, and many people are still waiting for that to happen. This graph shows the difference between the 2008 wave of defaults and the 2020 wave. It would be naive to think that we are completely out of the woods, but the leading indicators are forecasting that the shift will not be driven by mortgage defaults. If mortgage defaults aren't going to turn the tide, what will? The good news is the inventory levels haven't gotten worse. We seem to have hit the bottom and are floating between 200 and 300 active homes each week, but most likely it's going to take between 500 and 600 active homes before we stop seeing offers above asking price or buyers paying over appraised value, and that's a lot of ground to make up. I think our first increase of active homes will come between April and June, and then I think we will slowly increase over the year. The other way to combat low inventory is to reduce demand. Now, if interest rates continue to increase, we'll begin to see buyers exit the market because they will simply be priced out. A 1% increase in interest rate typically takes 10% buying power away from a buyer. If we get a combination of increased spring inventory, builders and suppliers able to complete homes in a timely manner, and a tick up in interest rates, we could see the market start to normalize. All that being said, multiple offers over asking price and buyers paying over appraised value will continue to be business as usual, at least for the next several months or longer. We will keep watching the indicators and report on them in upcoming videos, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great day.